from OET. Sorry.
Go
So
ahead.
this mail they sent to me from OET, which comprises the 4 modules of the exam.
Yeah.
So I was even at work. It was during my break time. So I clicked on the reading. So I'm taking it one after the other. So I click on the reading. And, when the man was explaining the reading, in fact, I was actually, I was getting it the way he was teaching that day. So on the recording. So after, because there's this textbook that my cousin sent to me from England. So after listening to the recording and how he explained how we are going to get the right answer, he was actually crossing the wrong one. And it's like, you read the question first, you go to the passage, then you read the answers, or you read
Yeah.
the question first, you read the answer, then you go back to the passage. So I actually I got it right. So when after the whole thing, I went back to that textbook to pick a reading text, and I make sure I finish from question 1 to the end for part B and C, for part B and C. And at the end of the day, I went back to the back of the textbook to mark myself. And I really see that, it has a great positive impact on me. So what I've been doing actually, because I don't really have time to prepare for this exam. So I used to go to that mail, click on anyone that I wanted to study for that period of time, listen to it, then go back, look for a question on that particular module and attempt it. That's what I've been doing, and it has been really helping me.
Okay, thank you for sharing. It's good to hear that. And one thing I can get from your experience, what you just shared now, is application of the strategies.
Exactly.
So you've been able to apply the strategies or the tips that you have been given. So there have been a lot of resources, a lot of textbook, a lot of YouTube videos. But it's not enough for you to just listen. It is the application of it, taking time to
Yes.
apply it. And I tell you, if you can apply it once, twice, 3 times, it becomes a pattern that
Yes.
you use. So you don't
Because
have
I
to go
noticed
back. Yeah. You don't have to go
because I
back to
noticed
the
that for this exam, there's no amount of time you can create for this exam that will be enough or sufficient. But the main thing is for you to get the clue of the exam, the
yeah.
main point, the main clue on how to write this exam and pass once and for all. So I
Yeah.
pray God will help us.
God will help us. Thank you so much. Falola, just before we do this revision.
Good morning, ma. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So we are
Basic,
sharing our experience with the OET practice, specifically OET reading.
okay. I've been practicing the slides and everything, but it seems a little bit tedious because this is my first time of doing this. But as soon as I practice more better, I feel I'm improving as compared to when I started.
Thank you so much. All right, so let's go ahead now. Quickly, as I usually do, we'll go back to the strategies. That is what we want to understand. And like I said, that it's important that we are able to apply it. So how do you apply? Let me just share this screen now. I take it one after the other there. I try to. So for the part say that I know we have all attended, has everybody attended to this as you have plugged this in and listen to the explanation. So I'm not going all through it again. So for the part say, like that it is what you have to do in this format is the matching, the short answer, and the gaps filling. Most people scale through with this. In fact, I would say part B is my favorite, you understand, because it's just 6 questions, But part A, sometimes you need to be able to quick skimming. You need to be able to scan through the tests for your matching, for the short answer, and the gap filling. Okay, so for the matching paragraph, read, this is what I always say tell people to do. Go to the questions before you go to the test. When you read the titles of the reading, quickly move to the test where the answer is. Go to the answer. It is when you have an idea of the options, then you come back to the test to read through, because you already have an idea of the options to help you to quickly skim and scan out the question there. So that is how to go about initially the matching and part A parts. So that's how to go. Read the question, go to your options, read the question and the options, then come to the task, to the test to pick out your answer. And there are always clues. When you understand the meaning of the 4 tests that you have, it gives you that specific highlights of to the answer. It will be easier for you. The short answer one, you have to answer with a word or a short phrase for one of the tests. Sometimes it might not be the exact word you find, it can be a synonym. So all you just have to look at, what is the word before this test and then after. What is that word before and after? We're going to do an example. I just want to run through this. Then the completion question, that is the fill in the gap. You have to fill in with either a word or a short phrase from the test. So again, like I said, don't just go and bring one word from outside. It has to be something relevant to what you find in the test. So don't bring out something else on your own, otherwise use it. So what you need generally for OET reading, you need this how to skim. Skimming means that running your eyes through the reading. We do this. Everybody does this, but it's very important that you are intentional about it. You run your eyes through the heading and the subheadings. Why you are doing that is that you want to take note of important keywords, numbers, symptoms, treatments, that you can find in the test. You have 3 minutes to do that anyways. Now, when you do this, I really jump into the second question, second type question. Done part, what's it called? The first part. So go to question 7. Sometimes 1 to 7 can waste your time. You understand? So if you go to 7 to the question 7 to the other part to 20, once you are done with that, coming back to question 1 to 7 will be easy because you already understand the test. So the rationale behind reading part A question sheet does not require a lot of time. But once you have finished question 8 to 20, you will have reasonable better understanding of all 4 tests. So it's easy for you to locate your answers for question 1 to 7.
Yes.
Try this. If I want to try it this is for part A particularly. So read the question in part A, just read the question, but go over to what's I called? No, but questions 8 to 20. Just read the question for question 1 to 7. Go over to question 8 to 20, answer it. By the time you're answering that, you're going through all the tests. So it's easier for you to answer question 1 to 7, and it saves you a lot of time. We can try, somebody can try it. It might not work for everyone, but these are work for a lot of people. Then after you finish 8 to 20, then answer 1 to 7. It takes even less than 2 minutes sometimes, because you already have a better idea about all the tests. Okay, so of course, these are just exclusive strategies, reading the instruction. Now, to answer the question, use questions to guide you to which test to read. So you use your question to guide you which test to read. Don't spend too much time reading all the tests. Let the question guide you into the test to read. Underline keywords in the question, before you go to locate the words in the text. Read the title of all the tests. Use statement to find out what type of information, and look at the 4 tests in more detail to locate the test. answering question, when you are struggling to find the answer, it can be helpful to narrow down the type of answer you need. How do you narrow down? It's like looking for possible, trying to like, is it what I said? No, the first Elizabeth said, you are like doing elimination method. No, this is not right. This is not right. Why is this option not correct? Why is this option correct? That is how you weigh your options quickly so that you can narrow down your answer, maybe to 2, and then you place the 2 again. Okay, why is this question I ask for each option is, I'll say, why is this one right? Is this option right? Can it be correct? So don't just think ultimately option A is wrong. You need to ask yourself, why is it wrong? Why is it right? For each of the option, and that's how you do your elimination. Now, place the word in the answer box next to the test. Don't write it somewhere else or in another sheet. Make sure you write it in the box next to the test. Don't include words or phrases that are not present in the test. Don't say, oh, okay, because maybe it's a nursing question. You know the answer based on your nursing knowledge. If it is not in the test, don't include. Don't use words with similar meaning to the words in the test. This is synonym. You need to use exact word as it is in the test. Keep your answer short and all that. So let us just revise, a little bit of all this. I'll run through, and let me go to part B. Then we will do a practice together. So, like I said, part B is my favorite, because I only have 6 different extracts, 1 question per extracts. It's easy for you to just look through, but at the same time, you have to pay attention. And the thing about B and C is that if you master part B, you have saved yourself enough time for part C. So because like you need about 10 minutes to do part B, but if you are able to do it with 6 minutes or even less than 6 minutes, because you have 6 extracts, you have saved 4 minutes that will help you in your part, because B and C is time together. I hope you understand. So now, the kind of test you find for part B can be like a notice, email, manual. They are shorter tests, and you just have to extract your options or your answers. So there are 3 answer options. One option may be difficult in the test, so you need to find it. Maybe discussed in the test, you need to find it. Another option may be present in the test, but presented wrongly or opposite meaning. Then the other option may be present in the test, but indirectly, maybe it is paraphrased or presented the same meaning from the test. So these 3 different options, have it at the back of your mind when you are doing your elimination. Okay, this test is discussed in the test. This option is discussed in the test. No, this option is in the test, but I think it's placed wrongly. Of course, that might eliminate that because it is wrong or it is opposite in meaning. But there's a particular test that it might be indirectly, maybe they just paraphrase it. So, it is the closest in meaning. This is different from part A that has to be exactly the way it is. So that is how to go about B. So there is this method. I know probably some of you have seen it or you have practiced this. 2 methods, the QAT and the QTA. I want you to tell me which one you have used and which one worked for you. So the QAT here is that you reading the question at first and then answer. Look through the answer, read the question, look through the answer before you go to the test. By that, you're trying to exclude and select your answer while reading the test. While to some other people, they use the QTA. So they read the question. Generally now, you should know that reading the question first is the goal. Read the question first. Both method here said that you should read the question first. Don't waste your time going through all the tests before you come to your question. Read the question first, then the tests. Read the whole test, mark reading keywords, or skim through the whole test, because you might not have time. Skim through. For part B, you might have to read through because you are looking for specific answer. They are just short tests anyway. Before you go to your answer, read the answer options and select your option. So quickly tell me in the chat box, which of this method has worked for you or you have used before, and which do you prefer? Method 1, QAT, just a QAT, or QTA in the chat box. QAT or QTA, which do you use? Okay, Liz said QAT.
I use QTA.
Okay, can you put it in the chat box, please?
I'm actually looking for it.
Okay, thank you. All right, while we are doing that, okay, so I'm not going to go through all this strategy. We know you guys should read your instruction. Now, one quick thing about reading parts B and C again is knowing the setting. Each of the tests has a setting that a generic setting could be hospital-based. Generally, all is hospital-based. Sometimes you need to know, okay, what is this talking about? Is it a guideline? Is it a policy? Is it a procedure? No, in your tests. That will give you a focus, to help you to focus your effort on understanding the main point. So you need to know what's the setting now. Turning the question, of course, like we said, you go to your question first. Answering 6 questions in roughly 10 minutes or less than, or usually you should spend less than that. So if you can't find answer, please, in one question, go to the next question and come back. All right. So just to let you know, in case this recording gets disconnected and Zoom is active funny these days, just reconnect back using the same link. Okay. So now, for part B, there is the main idea question. The main idea question is asking you, what is the main point that was discussed in the test? What is the main point? So the detailed one is telling you that what specific part of the test, that means the answer is in a specific part of the test. You can tell maybe the first line, the second line, or the third paragraph, something like that, specific part of the test. And this thing follows logically. That's the way, if you have practiced it, it follows. The purpose question will ask you, what's the best explanation for an exact point in the test, for an exact part of the test? I'm asking you, what's the best explanation for that? The reason why it's important for you to know this different question type is that it will help you to select the best response. So try quick tips there is that try to include the incorrect answer option. Try to exclude the incorrect answer option while you are reading. Remember, if you are using QAT, you read the question, you know the answer options. So when you are coming to the test, you are excluding the incorrect answer as you read through the test, so that you can find the correct answer. The same way, try to include the possible answer option while you are reading the test. So exclusion and inclusion, you have an idea of the test. Luckily, it's different from when you're practicing now. You will have your exam reading booklets, your question booklets and your answer booklet together, in the real exam. So that will be faster because you are looking through both sides. All right, thank you for those that have responded. Let me quickly look through the chat. So QAT, Lizzie use QAT, Adenike use QTA, Apostle use QTA. So whichever works for you, so just make sure that you are consistent and, be open to trying different options sometimes. If the one you are using isn't working, try another. All right, so running through part C before we practice again, like I said, you can save yourself some time from part B to answer part C. Now, the reason why part C is more challenges because it has longer tests, very long, very annoying. But it still has these 3 different question types: detailed attitude and opinion, the vocabulary question type, and the reference question type. Please let us try to understand the difference between these 3 and why it will help you to locate your answer. For the detailed attitude and option question, ask you to identify information from a test. You are identifying an information from a section of a test. So just you have to focus on the view and opinion of the writer, like he's saying, what does the writer say about this and this? That is the detailed attitude. So like he's saying, what point does the writer make? Is an opinion and attitude or detailed question. So if you can see from this example, they could say, like in the 4th paragraph, the writer says that conventional treatment can be problematic because. So now you won't be looking everywhere. He already directs you to paragraph to go. You will not go to paragraph 1. You already said in the 4th paragraph. So please just go straight to the 4th paragraph. Now it says, say that conventional treatment. Look for conventional treatment. Conventional treatment is a keyword there. Now look out in that paragraph where conventional treatment is. Now, what was said before conventional treatment and after conventional treatment is where you get your answer. So pay attention to that vocabulary question. So for a vocabulary question type, it will be telling you to look at the surrounding word and deduce the meaning added to the word. It's saying, what does this word mean? So remember that word can mean differently. For example, if you said, I'm very jealous of you. Jealousy sometimes could be negative, sometimes it could be bad. So how does this word apply? What's the meaning of this particular word in reference to the test or to that part of the test? So to answer this question, you need to look at the surrounding words and deduce the meaning added by the word. Because it is a common word, maybe they said like I said, jealousy, we could use another word and the meaning could be different if it is put in another context. So you only have to deduce the meaning as it applies to the context you are reading. So these questions are not testing your knowledge of the definition of the word. They're not trying to test your knowledge of what does hemorrhage means. Generally, we know hemorrhage is bleeding, but it could be hemorrhage is something else as it applies. So you need to understand the surrounding words in that test. So you should expect to answer 1 vocabulary question in each test in part C. Now, this is an example. The writer used the phrase cut corners to reinforce the idea. So cut corners is not just like you are doing shortcuts. You have to reference it. What does this mean in this test? In the loop, on the fence. So look out in the surrounding test, you'll be able to pick your answer. Now, the last one there in C is the reference question. The reference question will ask you to decide what the word or phrase underlined and in bold in the question relates to. Like it help you to keep track on what has been discussed in the long sections of the text with complex sentences. So you need to be able to, go back, reflect back and forth. So part C is more like you going back and forth to see, is the answer here? Can I get a clue from here to answer this question? So if you look at each of these reference, they said, what does the word eat refer to? You need an understanding of that paragraph. And honestly, part C will refer you specifically to a paragraph. And once you attended paragraph 1, the next question will take you to paragraph 2. The next question will take you to paragraph 3. The next question will not take you back to paragraph 1. It goes logically like that. If you have experienced it, that's the way it is. So part C is designed to evaluate your ability to quickly read and understand English test question. Now, I tell you that sometimes that QTA might not work in part C. So part C, you might need to apply QAT. No, I mean QAT might not work in part C. You might need to apply QTA. That is question, test, and answer. So try to be flexible about your application of method. Don't be, very rigid and say, I'm only using QAT. In part C, you might need to change. I've observed that for part C, for me, I didn't do OET as an exam, but in my experience, of course, if you are teaching other people, you also need to have gone through that. I've tried to take the exam myself multiple times, and I realized that for part C, I need to read the question, I go to the test before coming to the answer. Because the question already tells me where to go in the test. So the question will tell me second paragraph or third paragraph. So I go straight to the test and then come to get my answer. Because even going to the test, I already get my answer most times. So that could be a new one for you if you don't know. And the strategies I'll say, I've talked about it. I've talked about look at the test. The first thing you should do when taking classes is to quickly look through the test. Understand how the test is organized and what it's about. The paragraph flows logically. So as you skim through the test, you might find it helpful to make a brief note or, what's the main idea of the test. I didn't do this. Honestly, this does not happen. I don't have time to be making notes. No, but that could